Welcome back to day 3 of our Lent reading series for 2025, looking at the Psalms. We started with Psalm 1 and then on day 2 we jumped to Psalm 8, and we're going to jump again now for day 3 to Psalm 13, a Psalm of David. Let's read together. How long, Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I wrestle with my thoughts, and day after day have sorrow in my heart? How long will my enemy triumph over me? Look at me and answer, Lord my God, give light to my eyes, or I will sleep in death, and my enemy will say, I have overcome him, and my foes will rejoice when I fall. But I trust in your unfailing love. My heart rejoices in your salvation. I will sing the Lord's praise, for he has been good to me. The 6 verses of Psalm 13 are a cry of desperation from someone who feels far from God, even abandoned by God. It starts with 4 direct questions. How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I wrestle with my thoughts and every day have sorrow in my heart? How long will my enemy triumph over me? The enemy in this psalm is singular, unlike the enemy in Psalms 9 to 12, which we've skipped leading up to today. There the enemy is plural, such as a hostile group or maybe an invading army. This psalm suggests a specific person is in mind. The title tells us that the writer of the psalm is King David. The fact that at no point in this psalm does David ask for his enemy's destruction suggests that it's quite likely to be either King Saul or David's son Absalom. Before David was king, Saul was king, and gradually over time started to become jealous of David's popularity. There are several times when Saul tried to take David's life, but whenever there was an opportunity for David to take Saul's life, he would say, Far be it for me to lay my hand on the Lord's anointed. David refused to attack Saul, recognizing that God had put him on the throne. So that would fit the description in this psalm. But equally, it could come from much later in David's life, during his own reign, when Absalom, his son, rebelled against him, due to David's inability to do with his other sons when one of them caused a serious offence. Absalom looked to take the throne, causing a civil war in Israel. As David's men went out to confront Absalom's men, the only concern that David had was that his son Absalom would not be harmed. Though if you read the story, that isn't actually how it played out eventually. So, either Saul or Absalom could be the enemy that David refers to here. We don't actually know. Whoever it is, David is suffering on 3 levels. He's suffering spiritual distress, feelings of abandonment by God. He's suffering inner turmoil, wrestling with thoughts and sorrow. And he's suffering from his circumstances, a dominant enemy, and fear of his life. And as far as it seems to David, heaven remains silent. When you are in such a situation, it may cause you to question whether God even exists. And if he does exist, does he not care? And if he does care, why does he not do something about it? Note that in all David's questions, he never asks why, only how long. David was in despair, but he never gave up on God. He never doubted God's presence. His only cry was, how long must this situation continue? How can David keep trusting God in such desperate circumstances? The answer is in the last line, as David recalls 3 things to mind. God's character, his unfailing love, God's works, salvation, and God's personal blessing, He's been good to me. David recalls his past experience of God, who does not change. There is a quote allegedly written in Hebrew on the wall of a basement in Germany by a Jewish man hiding from the Gestapo in the 1940s. When translated, it says, "I believe in the sun even when it's not shining. I believe in love even when I'm alone. I believe in God even when he's silent." When we are struggling and heaven seems silent, think back over what God has done for you in the past and remember that he is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Until next time, have a blessed day.